we're gonna go over a couple options of if you get to the triangle position, but you can't finish that perfect triangle where you get your ankle behind your knee, right? So again, same basic setup as last time. This is new for you today, right? I'm gonna pull with one arm and push with the other. In this case, I'm going to pull with my left and push with my right. The side that I'm pulling, in this case my left arm, that foot is gonna go in the hip here. So now, as I pull with my left arm, push with my right arm, as soon as his arm clears my hip line, I use that left foot in his hip to get my hips as high as possible and then break his posture on the way down. From minute one, I'm squeezing my knees, okay? So stop being lazy with your legs here and your partner's able to posture out or get their arm out, okay? Squeeze your knees from minute one, and my goal is to keep him in this position. If he starts stacking me, go ahead, start. I'm walking back to make him, keep his posture collapsed. If he starts to sit up, I'm bringing him back down, okay? From here, I need to get his arm in position. So I lift my hips up and bring it over to the other side of my body, okay? My left arm is going to reach on the inside of my left leg to grab my right shin. Now I unhook, and again, my knees are tight, my arm is tight, because if I'm lazy here, he's going to get his arm out, he's going to get his shoulder out, right? So again, my knees are tight here. I'm going to put my left foot on the ground or in his hip to rotate as far 90 degrees as I can. Let's assume that we can't get this perfect position. Your legs are short, your opponent's too thick, whatever. What I'm going to do, I'm going to activate my feet, right? Not ballerina toes, straight up like this. I'm going to get my right ankle underneath the middle of my left calf. Everybody with me so far? Okay? So I couldn't get it completely 90 degrees. I can get it in the middle of my left calf. My goal is to squeeze my knees together and make my shins as parallel as possible. That way, when I stomp down with that top foot, I get the same kind of pressure. Actually, I get even more pressure than if I were to tuck that leg behind and finish the triangle traditionally. Okay? So again, if your legs are too short or your opponent is too thick, instead of getting all the way behind your knee, you're going to take the leg that's around the neck, stick it right underneath the opposite calf. And again, very crucial that you line your shins up by squeezing your knees together. Now when I stomp that foot to the ground, you'll feel the difference. Okay? Again, from the beginning. Traditional triangle setup, right? From here, I'm going to pull with my left, so my left foot is already in the hip. Now I push, pull, clear that arm, get the catch here. Squeeze my knees from minute one. Khaled was very nice, so he got his arm in position for me. If not, I would lift my hips and bring it to the other side. I can also kind of just turn here and get the same cheat from here, right? So I didn't need to do all that unlocking and turning 90 degrees. I still prefer to do that just because I don't have very flexible hips. But if you're more flexible than me, maybe you just kind of turn and you're already in line. Again, do not let your knees separate. Squeeze your knees together to line your shins up. My right ankle is underneath my left calf. My toes are drawn in towards my face, and I stomp that left foot to the ground. And you should feel the difference. Any questions? Cool. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. So let's go over another option. Please, Khaled. We're just going to do a simple arm bar from here. Right? So again, I got a good triangle, but for whatever reason, I couldn't turn 90 degrees, and I can't get the regular triangle. Let's go for an arm bar from here. Okay? Again, this arm bar, I'm going to finish head to head. Traditionally, we finish arm bars 90 degrees, and it makes sense, right? Well, we don't have that option for whatever reason. Our opponent's strong, he's blocking us, whatever. We're going to finish this arm bar head to head. Because we're finishing it head to head, we can't have his arm in a traditional position, whereas thumb would theoretically be pointing to the sky. Obviously, he's taped up down. What I'm going to do is cheat the angle a little bit. I'm going to take both of my hands and put it on his wrist. Three things happen at the same time. I rotate his palm to the sky as I lift my hips off the ground, and instead of pulling into my chest, I'm going to send it to my left pocket in this case, right? His right arm is on the left side of my body, so I'm going to send it to the left pocket. So again, 3 things happen at the same time, real slow. I turn his palm to the sky as I lift my hips off the ground, and I send his arm to my opposite pocket here. Everybody see how that works, right? I'm not doing this. I'm not coming up straight for an arm bar. It's not going to work. You don't have the angle. So I rotate his palm as I lift my hips to the sky and send his thumb to the opposite pocket. Here. Tap me. Don't tap the back, Calvin. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Any questions? Super simple, super effective. Is it? I thought it was a number.
No, the way you like grab my arm.
Oh yeah. Both hands on the wrist because you gotta expose the palm. Cool. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Bottom and Khaled on top. I had them starting in the triangle with the posture. The posture might have been up actually. I might have caught this a little bit late, and they're trying to finish the triangle from here. So let's see how it goes. Chris doing a decent job controlling the posture. His knees could be a little bit tighter, and also I'm seeing a couple gaps here, so his legs can definitely be shelved on top of Khaled's trap a little bit more. Looks like he's pulling with his heels in. You don't want to pull with the heels, you want to pull with the whole leg. So again, knees squeezing together. The back of your hamstring should be as tight on your opponent's, let's say like chest slash traps as much as possible, and there should be zero gap right here between you and your opponent. So he could probably fix that right about now. Not sure what he's going for. It looks like he's thinking. Oh, there we go. It kind of fixed it right there. Probably a little bit tighter. Yep, now he's going through the triangle. Gets the turn. I don't like him letting go of that arm because Khaled's being nice, but if we rewind it for a second, we see he actually loses control of Khaled's arm here. Unless you really have their arm secure with that opposite leg and this leg, I like to keep one hand on that hand at all times, because your opponent's going to want to bring it back out that way, as we could see Khaled just did. Good idea to underhook your opponent's arm or leg to turn yourself further, but you do need to control that hand. Khaled is being nice. You'll see him actually put his hand back right there in a good position just to help Chris out, because they're just drilling right now, but not the best idea. All right, we got Bob on the bottom and Kyle on top running the same triangle drill. Kyle's a relative newcomer. I think he's only had a couple lessons. Bob's got to clear that hand a little bit more next time. You could see Kyle's arm inside. Might be able to finish the triangle, but not from here. Going for that arm bar. Okay, this is a problem I see a lot of beginners have when they go for the arm bar. They have the legs technically triangled around the opponent's upper body, the arm and the head, but not in any way that matters. Look how far Bob has to push his opponent's arm in order to get it to break. No good. You want it to already be breaking right about as it gets to here. In order to facilitate that, this leg has to be perched as high up onto your opponent's shoulder as possible. Again, knees always squeezing together. I would argue that Kyle's shoulder is a little bit too far out right now, so it's going to be really hard to finish this armbar without a major adjustment. Might still be able to get it. Okay, if he tucks it behind his arm, he should be able to get it, but that's not an extra step that I want to add in the middle of a roll, especially when everything's going crazy. Here we got Denise on the bottom and Bob on top running the triangle drill. It looks like they already started pretty deep on it. Oh, very good bite on the triangle. Okay, big problem. If you try and finish the triangle, or sorry, if you try and tighten up the triangle, I should say, with your arm, oh, that was a bad circle, with your arm on the outside of your leg here, I'm just going to use the word, if your left arm is on the outside of your left arm trying to grab your right shin, you're going to have a bad time. Her arm, if you're going to adjust the triangle, which she's doing the right thing by grabbing the right shin, but she'll be on the inside of her own left leg, grabbing the triangle here. The way she's grabbing it now, let's take a look at it. Even if she wanted to unhook her legs in order to make a further 90-degree adjustment, because again, they're head-to-head right now, if she wanted to unhook her legs, she couldn't, because she's trapped with her own arm here. That's why we grab to the inside of our own leg. I think I remind her. Yeah, boom. Now she can make an adjustment. Good. Pull down, squeeze. Might be able to get it. I'd like to see her turn a little bit more 90 degrees. Okay, now she's lost the arm. There we go. Now she fixed the arm. Just make the last adjustment. Okay, looks like she's got it now. There we go. Let's look at that final posture. Very good triangle position from here. Bob's arm is fed all the way through, so it's cutting off the one artery. Her legs are tight to Bob's body. Her ankle, relatively speaking, is underneath her locking leg. And look, this is the angle of Bob's spine. this is the angle of Denise's spine. We got that very close to 90-degree angle right there. Again, we have other options of if we don't get to the 90-degree, or we can't. Again, Denise is much shorter than Bob. She might not have been able to get that perfect triangle posture. So we got that mid-calf adjustment. But this is almost a picture-perfect triangle right here. All right, we got Khaled on bottom here. It looks like Ernest on top here, if I can tell from the rash guard. See how it goes. Khaled doing a good job controlling the posture. His legs are nice and tight to his opponent's head and body. Okay, let's rewind it 1 second. He did a good job grabbing his opponent's head in order to control the posture. If you see him let go of his legs, though, boom. Now there's a giant gap. There's a giant gap right here. Ernest might be able to get his arm out. He might be able to get his head out here. That is not a risk that me personally I'm willing to take. If I were Khaled, I would have grabbed my own shin here. That way the circuit remains closed. Right now the circuit is open. He is kind of compensating by grabbing his opponent's head though. So I don't know how this plays out. Let's see what happens. Breaks Ernest's base. Gets the legs crossed. I think he's going for the mid-calf adjustment. Might be able to get it. He's trying to switch to an arm bar. Ernest trying to get his foot into play. Gets his leg over. Looks like he'll get the arm bar. It's not clean though. Let me rewind it back just a little bit. Look at all this space here. And again, he's a white belt, so I'm not too mad at him. But if he wanted to go for the traditional armbar, I would recommend that he puts his right foot on the ground, this foot, which I believe it is, and then kind of mini shrimp to his side so he's flat on his back. That's going to allow this hamstring to get seated right across Ernest's face for a traditional armbar. He's a lot bigger than Ernest, so he does manage to finish the armbar from there, but I would clean it up a little bit more. Again, he's a white belt. I'm not too mad at it. So that was a pretty good adjustment. Now we got the reverse situation, the revenge situation. Ernest is on the bottom here. Khaled is on the top here. Running the triangle. Let's see how it goes. Ernest doing a good job controlling Khaled's posture. He's tucking the arm behind him. Maybe going for an arm. Oh, it looks like he's going for an omoplata or kimura. Oh, good with the grip. I'd like to see him keep that arm 90 degrees if he's going to go for the kimura. Once your opponent straightens their arm out, it's very hard to collapse it back in. He manages to get it and gets the tap. Good. Again, I don't like the posture of this arm. Once your opponent straightens out the arm, it's hard to get it back. Ernest did manage to get it back this time. Even then, it wasn't a great position, but he did manage to get it back, so credit to that. But again, don't even give your opponent the chance to escape. Got Ernest on the bottom and Khaled on top again. Looks like this is the second part of the drill. They're running that triangle. It says go. Good job controlling the posture by Ernest. Oh, Khaled gets the high head posture again. That's going to be a little bit harder to finish. Looks like he's going for the kimura again or some kind of straight arm lock. Yeah, Khaled's giving up that arm way too easily. He might be able to tap from here. Yep. Let's go back and see what happened. Yeah, Khaled didn't do anything wrong. He just kind of let Ernest dominate the grip. Let a smaller guy dominate the grip here. And Ernest had enough wherewithal to kind of straighten the arm out and go for an arm bar. Nothing wrong with that. All right, we got Khaled on the bottom here, and Kyle, I always get his name confused with another guy, on top here. It looks like Khaled's already starting pretty deep in the triangle from what I see right now. Knees are pinched together. Kyle's posture is relatively broken. Doesn't look like Kyle can just sit up out of it. Looks pretty good starting posture from here. Let's see what happens. Okay, good at making the adjustment here. Kyle doing a good job picking Khaled up off the floor. Khaled does. Whenever my opponent goes to pick me up off the floor, I like to take, in this case, it would be my right arm and underhook my opponent's left leg on my right side. It does two things. They can pick you up, but they can't pick you completely up off the floor because you're anchoring yourself to their leg. Number two, because they can't pick you completely up off the floor, they can't slam you. You're right. Always thinking about MMA, always thinking about self-defense. From here, looks like Khaled pretty much got it locked up. Let's see if he could finish it from here. Still seeing a little bit of daylight, right? So he can't quite get the ankle behind his knee pit here. He could go for the mid-calf adjustment. Let's see what he does. Okay, he underhooks the leg. I would be, if I were him, I'd be squeezing that calf down. Might lose it from here. Oh, might turn into an armbar. He's lost the triangle for sure. And Kyle escapes. Let's see what went wrong there. Kyle did a good job maintaining the posture. Right about here, maybe even sooner. So we already see Khaled start to lose that, his left leg starts to lose that triangle posture. So let me go back a little bit more. Right about here. Right about here, I would, if I were him, I would try and start lining my shins together and go for that mid-calf squeeze adjustment. Maybe the armbar at the same time, because he's turned pretty far 90 degrees. He's got that, his foot is right, his head is right next to Kyle's left foot. Right about here when I start to lose the triangle, so right, we see that shin start to slip off. As a last ditch effort, I would try and swing that arm over here and go for an armbar while still maintaining the underhook on his leg. He loses both. Good job, Kyle. Got Kyle on the bottom and Bob on top here. Excuse me. All right, they start. He's got to adjust it. Oh, okay, big problem. He lost control of the arm, and he's trying to make an adjustment without securing the circuit here. If Bob wanted to, and I don't know how he's going to play this. I don't watch these videos beforehand. All right, I'm the one recording them, but this was last week, so I already forgot what happened. There's nothing stopping Bob from either getting his head out of that hole here or simply take his arm up and over and getting out of triangle danger. You always have to keep this circuit closed, either with your own leg or your own hand here. Kyle did none of that. Let's see what happens. Oh, Bob's playing too nice because he's a beginner. Circuit's still not closed. Yeah, and look, Bob gets his arm out, and now he's out of the triangle threat. So please, keep that circuit closed no matter what you do. Got Bob on the bottom and Kyle on top here. Looks like Bob's already like 9/10 into a triangle. Kyle doing a good job standing up. Again, if I were Bob here, I would take my right arm and underhook him. Let's see how this plays out. Oh, excuse me. Looks like Bob's got it. Might not want to go for an armbar from here if he can't quite get the choke. He could turn a little bit more 90 degrees too. I'd like to see his right arm underhook Kyle's leg. Oh, there we go. To get that 90 degrees. Keep squeezing with the legs. Think that was a tap? Yeah, so we saw from here, Kyle's probably choking a little bit, but once you really get 90 degrees, yeah, now all the torque goes into the right direction. And Bob doing a good job pulling Kyle's head to his chest. Gets the tap. Kyle on the bottom here, Ernest on top here. Starting in a decent triangle. Kyle's got to fix the arm. He's got to control the posture and fix the arm here. Okay, starting to fix the arm. Ernest doing a good job using his right knee block. Oh, now it's gone. Got to get his hips up and over to fix the arm. He's keeping that good triangle posture with the legs, though. I like that. Okay, now he can start doing. Oh, no, now he's going the wrong way again. It's going to maybe turn into an armbar. Okay, now he's got the arm in the right position. He can start making the adjustment. Ernest doing a good job blocking that right arm. Oh, okay. I don't know if you saw it. Let me rewind it a second. Giant gap appears. Boom. Look at that giant gap. So now there's not as much pressure on Ernest's neck. The squeeze is still there. Ernest is still not comfortable, but look at all that daylight. Yeah, no good. Keep the legs locked. Oh, it looks like Kyle's losing the position. Might be able to turn it into an armbar. Probably not. And he's out. Overall, not bad. Remember to keep everything tight, please. Especially if you lock up that triangle. I'm not saying squeeze for dear life if you're in a bad position. Obviously, position contributes to the submission. But please, keep everything tight. Keep your opponent's posture broken. Make the adjustments a little bit at a time. Doesn't have to be all at once. Inch by inch, the vise should be closing further and further on your opponent's neck. We got Khaled on the bottom and Bob on top. Pretty good adjustment. Oh, okay. Breaks his posture. From here, we have... It's going to be hard to finish a triangle from here because you got to get your your left foot into place, which Cal is trying to do right now. He could try and switch to a traditional armbar. has his own risk and reward. He could also go for a triangle armbar, which he's not doing. It looks like he's a little bit too fixated on getting the triangle choke. I would be trying to attack the arm from here. Going for the traditional armbar. He gets it. Let me rewind it a little bit. Okay. Again, very hard to finish the armbar in this position if you're tilted here. Again, if I were Khaled, I would either use this foot or this foot. Again, one's better than the other. I don't want to get too into the details now. To shrimp his hips out so that his back is flat to the mat. Then this leg will be easier. We'll have an easier time getting over Bob's head so he could finish the armbar. He still manages to get it without it, but it's not very clean. Got Bob on the bottom, Khaled on top. Looks like Bob's really broken down Khaled's posture. I think he's might be like 9/10 into the triangle already. I must have been late filming on this one. Could probably turn a little bit more and not let Khaled stack him. Oh, gets a tap. Never mind. All right, so we got Chris. Okay, for this round we have Chris on the bottom, Kyle on top. Looks like they're starting in the triangle. Kyle doing a good job stacking. Oh, he might be out. Oh, he should have went the other way. He was almost out. Kyle's doing a good job shoulder walking back, not letting. Chris is doing a good job shoulder walking back, not letting Kyle stack him. But he's also kind of losing the arm. Oh, okay, let's rewind for a second. If Kyle knew what he was doing, see this giant gap right here because Chris didn't keep his knee tight. Kyle should, I'm getting the names confused. Kyle should shoot his right elbow right through and get completely out of triangle danger. What Chris did very well was, if we see where they started in the beginning of the match, they started in the middle of the mat. By the time he's shoulder walking back so far, he's almost hitting the wall here. Because he had been caught with a stacking pass before, he didn't want to be there. So he did a good job shoulder walking back. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a gap. Yeah, he makes that adjustment, which is fine, but then there's a giant hole that you see right here. I don't think Kyle was experienced enough to hit the escape. Chris might be able to get the triangle from here. I can't quite tell where Kyle's arm is. There we go, and he gets it. He used that mid-calf adjustment. Good job. But again, please, please, please keep the circuit closed. All right, so technically speaking, the circuit's closed here, but it's also got to be closed this way as well. Your knee should be touching your heel almost the whole time. There we go. All right, now the drill can start. Good. Oh, Chris is stacking him. He should be shoulder walking back. I think I told him to underhook. He went for an overhook. On the leg, I mean. Doing a good job keeping the his leg posture. Oh, okay. There we go. Makes adjustment. Oh, he's got it now. Might be able to go for an arm. Oh, he lost it again. Okay, he might be able to finish it from here. Not too bad for someone who's only had like less than 5 classes. Not bad at all. All right, this was in the middle of a sparring match, I believe. So we got Chris on the bottom, Kyle on top. Let's see where it goes. In the triangle. Don't know how he got there, but he's in the triangle. Okay, he pulled the wrong leg over. Let's go back real quick. Yeah, his right hand, let me get that little marker. His right hand should have grabbed this leg. I believe he does the opposite. Yeah, and of course Kyle passes. Of course. He could have turned into an omoplata here, but they don't know yet. And he goes for a scramble. So it's also in a sparring round. Khaled on the bottom, Kyle on top. Kyle putting the pressure on. Khaled keeping his guard closed. It looks like he's setting up a triangle. Or maybe not. Oh. Oh, okay. Not quite a triangle, more like a dead orchard, but that was good enough. So this is what I mean by getting your legs shelved on your opponent's shoulders, like high. If Khaled's legs were below Kyle's shoulder line, either one in this scenario, but just assuming for a triangle, it's really hard to get any kind of armbar. You'll notice that both of Khaled's knees are shelved above Kyle's shoulders, and he's still squeezing his knees together. That's going to give him options. Going for a double armbar here. Oh, and he gets it. Good job.